Hello, beloved listeners. This is DearPsychopomp. Let's talk about death. And this is Da Vinci. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I have missed our conversations. I've been thinking about them quite often and writing whenever I can, and I needed some time away to process a very deep grief that I've held on to for like 3-4 years. Even death doulas get stuck in grief. It's not something you can master. Bless you. So thank you for being here. This studio has changed slightly. I have 2 cats and 3 birds kicking around here. They're usually pretty quiet when I'm recording, but I'll edit it out. If it's too loud, don't worry. You don't have to worry about the screeches. Life has been lifing hard. I haven't had any episodes for far too long, yet the podcast keeps on growing thanks to you, and we're actually at over 1,200 downloads. I can't describe how that makes me feel and how thankful I really, really am. And, this podcast started as an homage to my friend who died, and it's just transformed my entire world. I've had the opportunity to meet so many wonderful human beings, and my life is forever changed for the better because of it. And from the bottom of my morbid little heart, thank you for every like, every share, every listen, every laugh, everything. I did receive quite an honor recently. I was featured on the cover of the Grief Talk magazine's 10th edition. Hi, Da Vinci. Thank you to my very dear friend Tony Lynch, who is just unstoppable as a force. You can check him out at the globalgriefnetwork.com or on Instagram as Men's Grief Support. And he really touches on, the important things that come with grieving as a man and grieving in general, and the things that he's doing. There's the Global Grief Network app that he's coming out with. It has a billion features. It can connect you with approved practitioners, support groups, live events, grief resources, language support, and a global community that understands you. There we go. Okay, he's stuck. Alright, we're just gonna, do you want to sit here? There we go. Okay, let's see if we can get him in the screen here. Da Vinci's gonna be our buddy. Possibly. Anyways, I wanted to start off with the 5 stages of grief, which are actually, they were mislabeled. It was Elizabeth Kubler-Ross who wrote them specifically for people who are terminally ill and facing death, and who are going to die soon from it. So it's the 5 stages of accepting death. And while I do wish accepting death is something that we could just do all the time, because it would change our perspectives, it's accepting grief doesn't come with neatly packaged stages of obvious beginnings and obvious endings and a final goal of we're back to where we were as if nothing had ever happened at all. And that's not how it works. That's where we get stuck, I think, is not being able to accept our current reality. It's I know. We will not let ourselves accept it. This is completely unacceptable. So, of course, we're not working on healing. That takes a lot of energy, but all of our energy is going into trying to control the narrative and saying things like, I just don't understand, or I just can't believe this. And the second fault of our brains is prioritizing needing to understand something fully before accepting it. We listen to our brains more than our bodies, and I think both of them need to have an equal say. We ignore what our bodies are screaming at us for the sake of seeking a reason. Like, why did this happen? How did this happen? What could I have done differently? And that's our brains just trying to figure out some kind of reason or justification for what happened. We don't always get that. There's not always a reason. There's not always a good reason. There's not always even a bad reason. We're not owed the reason. And meanwhile, there's the neglected, like, physical and emotional things going on too. You know, our bodies affect our brains, and our brains affect our bodies. There's scientific proof, oodles of it, that I would love to spit out, but I can't because I have a bird on my head right now. But it shows that once you can get in cahoots with your body, your life is never going to be the same again. When you can listen to it and work with it instead of trying to make it do things that it doesn't want to do or it can't do at the moment. And once I learned to follow my heart, follow that gut, life changed. Anyways, it's not about me. The first fault, if you were wondering, is allowing your brain to be the one to make all the decisions. The brain has no say in affairs of the heart. Your body will tell you what it wants. To be nourished, to be tended to connect with others it can feel safe with and resonate with. Like this teeny tiny dinosaur in my head. The third fault is our brains convincing us that we're somehow disconnected from the collective, that we're having a singular experience completely separate from all others. But we are of nature. Nature created us. Like, is not a tree capable of standing on its own, going through the storms and building that strong trunk, but still having its roots intertwined with others that are sharing the same soil, you know, or sharing the same seeds. Yes. Sorry. Anyways, once you accept what has happened to you, then you can start to heal from it. It's as easy as saying, like, yes, this happened, and you have to say it out loud. I know it's hard to say it or write it or type it because that's what makes it real, and it is real. It is. This is life. It's already happening. Grief. Get over here, silly bird. Grief is a wound to your heart, your soul, what makes you you. And it's just like a physical wound. Like, it will heal. It'll heal faster if you tend to it. But also, like, don't keep taking off the metaphorical bandages to see why it's not healing faster, or it's not healing the right way, or healing exactly how you think it should be healing. It's true that time heals wounds. It does. But time is the tool. Time is the gift. It doesn't stop moving. That's its nature. Time has been, it is, and it still will be. Just like ours is to keep learning and evolving and growing. And we're surviving now. Like, we're not, worried about predators and things like that, but are we surviving mentally? You're never gonna be who you were before. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you, but like, what is learned cannot be unlearned. Mwah, thank you. If you can accept grief, you can accept that grief changes you. That's the next step. You're still you intrinsically, but you're a wiser version, a different version who had something terrible happen to them. And you have to be able to give yourself the time to accept it. It's not just going to be like, I love how everything is just immediate gratification. You can buy this, and it's here in a day, and you can click this, and then you have it on your TV in 2 seconds. And we've forgotten that time is what we need. We need to be able to reflect and introspect and connect and disconnect, and to be able to have all that time to be able to do those things. That's where the healing is. And even when you've healed from this terrible, terrible thing, there is something beautiful that comes from it. It's not like, at least this, or at least that, or small mercies, or whatever uncomfortable people want to say to make themselves feel more comfortable. We learn that we don't have to fear the darkness, just as we don't have to fear the light. And too much darkness we can't see, but it's also the same with too much light. We go blind. We need that balance. We need to have them together, and the light will show you where it's no longer needed. And there's always shade if you're feeling like there's too much light, and the darkness holds it gently, showing us which way the light is. We need that balance. Anyways, so on top of the grief that you already have on the go, you're also grieving this last version of yourself, and trying to make space for this new one. But remember, like, they're all the same. You're evolving, you're growing. Like, our bodies know what to do. I tell this to my clients all the time. Your body knows exactly how to die. Your body knows exactly how to be born, how to breathe, how to laugh, how to heal itself. And we try to control it or ignore it because of technological advances in medicine. Like, we've come to expect these long and healthy lives where we die from old age, and we've managed to cure diseases and eradicate plagues and add decades onto our life expectancy. But at what cost? Like, when did longevity become more important than the quality of life? And I don't mean that with like people who are terminally ill or chronically ill or anything like that. I mean I mean mentally, we're expecting this. And, it all starts with us trying to defy death in the first place, The longer we live, the worse our health gets. Life just keeps trying to let us know where we stand and things. And, we've been given extra years, yet we still prioritize wealth over well-being. We have this extra time and we're like, sweet, more money to make. I digress. Healing from an emotional wound is akin to healing from a physical injury. At first, you're in shock. Maybe you feel that pang in your chest and your body knows that something's happened before your brain can really catch up. And then you feel it. You feel the pain and you can succumb to it or suppress it. And your heart is racing and your body is telling you to pay attention, but your brain just doesn't want to relinquish control. This is fine. This is fine. I've got this. This is fine. And you say you're fine so many times that you actually start believing it. And then you assess, can I take care of this myself? Or should I find someone who can help me? And therein lies the issue of trust. Do you trust other people to help you? Do you trust yourself to know when it's time to ask for help? And just like any wound, it needs cleaning and bandaging and rest. And of course, time. So mentally, that means clearing away any excuses or any blaming of circumstances. Hold yourself accountable for your part in what happened, whether it's good or bad. It means loving yourself even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. And you forgive yourself and you reflect with self-compassion. And you tell yourself this story. And again, you can write about it. You can read about it. You can listen to all the podcasts you want. But if you don't express it, it's just gonna need to keep being cleaned and bandaged until you can accept it. And you have to rest in between. Something that takes even more time, and we think we don't have any time. But we have all the time we have until we don't have any more. It's not the end until it ends. But you need to be able to rest to let your body do what it needs to do. It's not automatic. It's not an aha moment. Rest is the hardest part because you suddenly have all this time to do the things you've been meaning to do and haven't had time for. And you're like, oh, I could totally do that right now. And then you do it, and then your body's like, please, no. And so you actually have to listen to your body and let it heal and let it do its thing. And the body will express what it needs. It needs you to process the feelings and integrate them as part of your story. So if you need to do that by telling your story out loud and adding a new sentence every time, then do it. Your body needs you to cry. It needs you to feel the pain so that you know what needs your attention. But we learn to value our brains instead of our bodies. We numb the pain because we don't want to feel it at all when emotions and feelings are part of being human. And be like asking the ocean not to float. It's nature. I know pain can be scary, and we try and numb the pain, and it makes it feel okay for a little while, but But it keeps coming back because we're not actually tending to it. We're just trying to ignore it. And so then it lingers and it festers, and we think we can just ignore it. You know, sometimes we get so good at it, we start saying things like, it was a long time ago, or I'm used to it. This is just how I am now. And we believe it. And like some people actually, tons of people, all of us, begin to identify as your emotions because you feel them so deeply, and they just get worse and worse because you're not tending to them. You know, emotions are like clouds. They're gonna come and they're gonna go. And if you try and freeze them in place so that they stop coming, it's not gonna happen. You know, I don't want to be the bitter one holding on to resentment, or the sad one holding on to the grief of not living the life I thought I would. I don't want to be the liar holding on to lost trust, or an old version of myself, the one who's scared to live because they don't want to be hurt again. We're always going to be hurt again. If nothing were going on, we'd be dead, right? And it's hard to make peace with pain. But if you can make peace with pain, you can get through anything. It's still hard, and it's still going to change you. But it happens. You know, I find it funny how we admire and applaud people who can get back on that metaphorical horse, and that's because we know how terrifying it would be. We know how scary it would be to do that again and risk getting hurt again in the same way. And we praise the actors who can showcase emotions that we wish we could express. We love hearing the stories of resilience, but only after it's complete, because otherwise all we can see is the struggle, and that reminds us of our own. And seeing another human being accomplish something you wish you could do is inspiring. It's starting to rain here, and Poe is very excited. So, okay. So while we sit here with our big sexy brains trying to further understand our big sexy brains, don't forget that knowledge comes from living life. Not reading about it or hearing about it. You have to go and do it. You have to go for that walk to be able to see that beauty. And you're not going to be ready until you get out there and say, yeah, this is what I needed. And so when you're done listening to this or watching this, I want you to go hug a tree. I don't care if it's raining. I don't care if it's snowing. Go hug a tree. Put your phone down for an hour. Laugh with the birds. Slow down. Slow down. You're not in a rush to die, are you? What's your hurry? Get that screen out of your face. Get that noise out of your ears. Go outside and listen to what life wants to tell you. Turn off the noise and listen to your body. Death isn't a secret. Let's talk about it. Poe, thank you. If you dig this episode, I'd be grateful for any feedback, likes, shares, whispers into the void, or even message me on Instagram. I'd love to hear from you. Life is about gathering guests for your funeral, so make sure they're top-notch company. And I think a lot of us have forgotten that we get to choose our mindset. I'm just meandering more because I can. That's not something that anyone can take away or control, by the way. Your mindset. So what's your mindset? How do you view your life?